Position coaches spoke to the media today. There's one day a year where they talk to the media. Today was that day. Brian Griese spoke as a coach for the first time, spoke for half an hour. I was there for the first 15 minutes. And real quick, I just want to tell you what he said and get your take.
Yeah,
like
what did he say about Trey?
The obvious, I asked, like, why did you want to coach Trey in particular? What about Trey gets you so excited? Why is this the project for you? And he looked at me, he's like, I just wanted to be a coach. That was my first thing. I know Kyle. Like, they were going to replace me at ESPN. They got Buck and Aikman. Like, I was out of a job, essentially. I needed to be a coach. This is a place I know and trust. That's why I came here. Now, in terms of Trey, he basically said, I love how mature he is and how smart he is and how humble he is. He didn't say anything about his skill set, which is probably by design. I think he's basically saying, like, that goes without saying. I can judge that. But so far, what I'm seeing in person is those kind of things. And I just thought it was interesting. He was real clear. Like, I didn't come here for Trey. I came here because I was out of a job and I wanted to be a coach. And this was the job that was available. So that was kind of interesting.
That is interesting. It tells you about, it's maybe more about Griese and about Kyle than about Trey. But I'm glad he said those things about Trey, because realistically, how much field time has he had with Trey? Hardly at all. So his impressions of Trey should be about Trey the man, and Trey the person, and Trey's integrity, and Trey's, personality, more so than his footwork and what he is as a football player, because he hasn't really spent a lot of time with him, honing his football craft yet.
No, what was interesting too is, and I don't know exactly how it breaks down, but watching practice yesterday, it looked to me like there are two quarterback coaches, Brian Griese and Clay Kubiak, Gary Kubiak's son. Mm-hmm. And I filmed it, when they're doing their drills to warm up, Clay Kubiak's running them. He's the one sitting down. He's the one telling him where to go. Brian Griese's kind of watching or catching passes. And maybe Brian Griese is directing it, but it just occurred to me that Griese's never been a coach. Clay Kubiak has been a coach. His dad, very famous coach who was a quarterback coach and a quarterback. Maybe this Clay Kubiak guy's kind of important. I don't know.
Well, it's a great tree. I'll say that. His dad was the quarterback at A&M, the backup to John Elway, and obviously knew Mike Shanahan really, really well. So I know Kubiak has always been thought of very highly by multiple people around the league in multiple different regimes. So the fact that his son is thought of highly doesn't surprise me at all. And maybe there's some learning on the job with Griese. I heard Kyle say earlier this offseason that what he thinks Griese's going to add to Trey more than anything is just he's been there. He's been a NFL quarterback. He can talk about not just on the field, but off the field, and everything that goes into being the leader of a football team. So there's more than just the mechanics, I think, that are going to be taught from, or at least shared between Griese and Lance. I think it's a whole life experience type thing.
Yeah. Also, the other thing that Griese said that was interesting was basically like, look, I just want to see if I can be a good coach. Like, I don't even know if I can do this. He didn't say it like I don't know if I can do this, but he essentially said, I want to find out what I'm made of as a coach. And when he talked about Clay Kubiak, he was like, this guy's a great coach and he's going to be a phenomenal coach. Like, he deferred to Clay. He's like, I've known Clay since he was a teenager. And I'm sure that's true because Gary was his coach, but Clay Kubiak is freaking 32.
Wow.
He spent the last few years as a head coach at a high school in Houston and was also their offensive coordinator, was also an English teacher. This guy's super interesting. And his brother, Clint, is the offensive coordinator for Minnesota. Or he used to be. I don't know if he still is. Clint. Anyway.
Well, I'll take more coaches instead of less, as long as they're quality. Kyle. The show's about Kyle, right? It's Kyle's offense. It's very complex. So, having an extra coach can't be a bad thing. It can only be a good thing, and as long as they're all on the same page, right?
Yeah, it just is interesting to hear Griese sort of talk about it. Like, look, this was just a good opportunity for me. I wanted to be an announcer. My time was sort of done, and this is a new opportunity, and let's see what happens. It was interesting. Just seemed like it wasn't like, I've had this necessary like vision for it. Seemed like he's kind of reached a point in his life, and he's like, this seems like something, a new challenge. It's kind of like John Lynch, very John Lynch-ish. It's like, I didn't necessarily knew I was going to go into this, but it feels right now, and I've been successful at everything I've ever done, so let's give it a shot. It very had a John Lynch vibe. That's a good thing.
And it's an unspoken vote of confidence that they believe in Kyle, right? He wouldn't be here without Kyle. Lynch wouldn't be here without Kyle. I think the idea is that Kyle's a bright young offensive mind, and they've got good skill position players here. They're going to get good results, and that's going to mean career advancement.